Let's talk about GM and life after my mastectomy.
¿Cómo somos?
A common question that I've been getting is, how do I feel now after my mastectomy? And this is a rare disease. I do want to start out with that. And I think that if you are experiencing GM right now, you have a lot of doctors telling you, we don't know. And that's what I got before. I was very well aware that even if I got my breast removed and, we did the mastectomy, I was still going to be considered, it's still in my system. And one, they were scared that it was going to travel somewhere else. And that's still a fear for my doctors. I still visit the doctor quite often. I'm not going to stop going to the doctor. I'm still going to get checked. I still get blood work. Because I'm still considered, with the disease. I was also made aware that even if I got the surgery, I was still going to have other symptoms. And other symptoms are not as commonly known with the doctors, and they may not be aware of it, but joint pain was it was a big deal for me while I was, in pain, and I had open wounds and stuff. And so they did tell me that even though I went through with the surgery, I was still going, there was a chance that I could experience that. And I do have to say that after my mastectomy, it was kind of weird experience. I struggled a lot with, I don't know what they call it. I keep saying ghost pain, and it's not ghost pain. There's like another term for it. But I did experience pain. And my doctor told me that it's not uncommon. He wasn't surprised by it. He said that it was it's kind of like an amputation. When you amputate something, you can still feel it, and a lot of patients do experience that. And so what I was experiencing was pain that was no longer there, but I still felt it. It was very real in my head. And so what I do, because I still do experience, not as often as I did soon after my surgery, but I do still experience those shocks. And if you have GM, you might know what I'm talking about. They're the little shocks, the pain when you have the open wound. I still experience those, but I just kind of have to remind myself, and I'm just like, they're gone. And I start touching my breasts now, because they do feel different. They're implants. So I just have to keep touching and touching until my brain processes that it's not there anymore. We're okay. And so I have been offered therapy for that. And I don't feel like I need it right now, but that's definitely something that's available to me. Also, the joint pain has not disappeared. My joint pain's still there, and I do have a lot of issues with my bones, a lot of sensitivity. It might not make sense, but if you have been on steroids and chemotherapy, it does a lot to your body. And me, myself, my body did not receive steroids very well. And so it did affect me a lot, and it took a toll on my bones and my joints. I still have a lot of joint pain, and I actually am going to see my doctor again because my joint pain, it was so bad that I couldn't walk at times. It hurt even to sit down. I was in pain, especially in my knees and my hands. And right now, although after my surgery, it did kind of there was bigger gaps between the moments where I would be in pain, and now it's kind of closing up on me again. But I'm also having other symptoms, and I am going to get checked for them because my doctor said something's clearly wrong and we got to figure it out. Nothing's making sense. However, I never made any sense. I'm a unicorn. And so I am going to go get checked, but I don't want to discourage anyone who wants to get a double mastectomy or mastectomy to, relieve themselves of the pain. If you have been years into GM, obviously you're seeking relief. And so I don't want to discourage that. However, I want to be very real, because I get a lot of inboxes from women who see my posts, who see my videos, and they're very thankful for the information. And I always want to continue to be completely honest and share everything that I have, because I know that not a lot of people are sharing about GM. And so I did want to share that, and I did want to bring that up, because I am in a better place, because obviously I don't have any open wounds. But those risks of it moving to somewhere else or having other complications, I still have an autoimmune disease. And so I get sick often. I'm sick now. I've been sick for like the last month and a half. It doesn't take much to get me sick, and I'm so over it right now. But I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I got my double mastectomy, I'm fine. No. I'm still considered as a patient with an autoimmune disease, and the thing with autoimmune diseases, it comes in groups sometimes, and so you may have another autoimmune disease that you discover down the road. And so that's something that my doctors are still checking for. Oh my god, my son's being so loud. But there's something that my doctors are always on the lookout for. I'm still dealing with alopecia. I'm still dealing with other stuff. So I did want to put that out there. Obviously, you guys can still message me. I will always be honest with you guys, and I'm always going to share all the information that I have. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, take a moment. The process of getting a mastectomy is definitely a difficult one, and I know that a lot of women are kind of going that route because we're not getting much help. And if you feel like it's the right thing to do for yourself, you really do have to advocate for yourself. Like, I went through 9 doctors until I finally got someone who's like, okay, we may have to do this. And even then, like I mentioned, like, they will tell you all the risks, like, oh, it's not a fix technically, but especially just because there's so many unknowns. And even me now, like, whatever I'm experiencing now may not be your experience. I've heard of other women who already had their mastectomy, and they feel fine. They feel great. I think it's mentioned a lot, like, knowing what infection, we do testing to certain things, like, what do you have? Some people have idiopathic, which just means that you don't know what infection or what it is in your breast. I had a full testing, and I had several different kinds of GM in my breast, in both my breasts. And so I don't know if that makes a difference in my outcome, and someone who may just had something else or had a different route, like antibiotics maybe had a different effect, steroids, and it had a different effect for them. Every body is so different, and so my experience still may not be your experience. You may have a double mastectomy, and you can remove all the affected area, and you may have a very good outcome. That's just up to, like, your body, and, like, you won't know. So when people ask me about my surgery and these women are messaging me because of the information I'm sharing, I do want to say that my experience may not be your experience. And of course, information, you can take it, you can roll with it, or you can think I'm crazy, but I do want always to make it important that you should follow your gut. I'll always say that, follow your gut, because you know your body the best. If you want, I'm all for women doing the natural route. Like, there's women that don't want to do steroids, that don't want to do medication or treatments or anything. They want to go, like, with oils and other stuff, more natural stuff, and they've been successful. Like, they've gone into remission. And I think for me, I was just like 3 years in it, and I was just over it. It was affecting my lifestyle. I couldn't do things with my kids. It's a horrible experience. And so I was just done. And that's why I'm saying it has to be a very personal decision. There can be a lot of information out there, but I think that it's so important if you just follow your gut and know your body. Understand what your body is communicating, and also where your mental health is at. If you feel like mastectomy is the right thing to do, then by all means go and do it. I think that with the disease, you don't know, and we don't know. We really don't know. I may be having a whole different experience in years, and so yeah, I think that it's very personal decision. And for all these women inboxing me, I am available 24/7. I have gotten a lot of beautiful messages, and I am very happy that I am helping women out there, and I understand the frustration. And so no matter what question you ask me, I'm going to honestly answer them, and I'm on your side. I support whatever decision you make. The last thing I want to add is that what kind of testing or what are the upkeeps for it. I think that after the surgery, there's certain things that I wasn't made aware of that had to happen. Like every 7 to 10 years, you have to replace your implants, and I wasn't made aware of that. I actually found that out 2 visits before my last visit. Also, like, I had the tattoos to make my nipples, and I had like a lot of other stuff. Like, the whole process was very interesting, and I'm probably gonna make a post about that because it was a crazy thing. Like, it's so crazy how what doctors can do, and I think it's great, and so yeah, there's a lot that, like, just because we had the surgery, it's not like I moved on, I'm happy, and I don't ever have to see them again. Nope, I still have to go see him. I actually have an appointment with him in July because it was a year from my last appointment, so I still have to go in and check in. There's still more surgeries. Me personally, I will probably keep the implants up until, I don't know, until it stops feeling like something I want to do, which is probably like 50s. I don't see myself with implants for the rest of my life. At some point, I feel like I am gonna decide, you know what, cut it out, no more. I think I've expressed this to my doctors. I'm just so over you guys. I'm so over the doctors. I love you guys, but I don't want to see you. And so I don't want to see doctors for my whole life. However, there are also like tests that I have to take. Like, my blood work is always something that the doctors are going to want to see. I do still get tested for certain things. One of the things that I see on there, like a lot of autoimmune diseases, a lot of testing for that I'm still getting done now. Like, my doctor always does the ones for like lupus and stuff. And I mean, I'm grateful for that. Like, I'm still going to do it because obviously I know my body, and I know that there's still something going on. And like, I have 2 ultrasounds coming up, and I know that I'm not going to just be okay and done. That's something that I know. Like I said, listen to your body, communicate with your body, what's happening. I know where I'm at, and so the testing and stuff, you're still gonna get that. And if you have a good doctor, they're gonna obviously want to keep up with you, see what you're doing, how you're doing, and so yeah. And I will be making a post about my weight loss. Like I mentioned, steroids did do a whole... My body did not take steroids well, and so part of that was weight gain, the ridiculous weight gain. And so I am going to make a post about my weight loss, and how I obtained it, and what were the doctor's suggestions. And so yeah, I do want to talk about that, and I'll see you in the next post.